As you probably have been following, Roy Moore is an Alabama Republican Senate candidate. He's been accused of sexual assault by multiple women, including at least one woman who was underage at the time of the incident. He dropped in the polls precipitously last week, the week before, and I said to you, don't pay attention to it. Doesn't matter that a bunch of polls say that Doug Jones, the Democratic challenger, is ahead. I said, do not pay attention to it. There have been a number of factors that I have been concerned would actually help Roy Moore. Number one is the fact that a lot of voters just forget about stuff after a week. And after we don't have the Roy Moore sexual assault allegations in the news for 24 hours a day or however many hours a day it was, a lot of voters would forget about it. They'd say, wait, I'm a Republican. Of course I'm going to vote for Roy Moore. The other issue is that some of the allegations against others in the last couple of weeks, Al Franken, John Conyers, even the non-politicians like Charlie Rose and Matt Lauer, I said, it's going to help Roy Moore. And indeed, it is happening. Roy Moore is surging in Alabama. If you look at recent polls, there was this brief period where Doug Jones was actually tied or even ahead in a number of polls. And now we are basically back to Roy Moore leading all recent polls by 2, 5, and 6 recently in 3 recent polls. The Real Clear Politics average right now has Roy Moore ahead by an average of 2 percentage points. Remember, evangelical voters don't actually care about Roy Moore being accused of child sexual assault. They supposedly are mostly adherents to a religion that dictates that they should care about this. But it's been abundantly clear from the start that if you are Roy Moore, you just wait it out. Donald Trump waited it out. More than a dozen accusers, including, remember, a girl who was 13 years old at the time that she says Donald Trump raped her, had accused Donald Trump. He waited it out. He waited out the grab him by the pee tapes from Access Hollywood. He's president. He's president of the United States. There was no doubt that Roy Moore just had to wait this out. Another interesting element is that right when the first accusation against Roy Moore went public, Alabamans searching for, is it Alabamans or Alabamians?
Alabamians.
Alabamians.
Yes.
Okay, I stand corrected. Alabamians started searching for Roy Moore a lot on the internet. As soon, and the polling numbers for Roy Moore went down. As soon as a week went by and the stories came out of the news, Alabamians stopped searching for Roy Moore nearly as much, and his polling started going back up. It also probably is sort of helping Roy Moore that Donald Trump kind of pseudo-endorsed him. It was no big ringing endorsement of Roy Moore, but it was the type of thing that it was kind of a signal to Republicans that, listen, Donald Trump says it's okay to vote for Roy Moore, and a lot of those Republicans are going to. And I believe that the bottom line here is actually even more disturbing. It's not that for a while Roy Moore lost support. There was a period where Roy Moore supporters were just not admitting that they were still going to support Roy Moore. There is no way that voters really switched in such significant numbers away from Roy Moore and then back to Roy Moore in a week or 10 days. They were always for Roy Moore. Some of them just lied about it when they were being polled during the time of the allegations, often claiming that they were undecided or that they weren't sure if they were voting at all, or maybe even some of them saying they were going to vote for Doug Jones. They didn't really switch. They just lied. They were always going to support Roy Moore.
And remember what Roy Moore said after these allegations broke?
No.
That it was just a hit piece by the Washington Post, and it was all done by the liberal mainstream media to take him down 6 weeks before the election. If it actually was, wouldn't they wait a week or two before the election? Why would they do it 6 weeks before?
That
gives you time to recover.
If indeed it was a fake story just meant as a hit piece, you'd want to do it. You'd want to time it in a way that it would most impact the election results, not 6 weeks before. And there's kind of this ironic thing where conservative Southern Republicans don't like how they're perceived by us elite Northeastern liberals in cities. Well, maybe take a moral stand and don't vote for the accused serial child sexual assaulter, and you'll gain some more respect from the so-called Northeastern liberal elites. This is tribalism taken to the extreme. If Hitler appeared and ran as a Republican, they would find some way to say, hey, listen, we don't want the Democrat to be here because the Democrat's going to do all this really bad stuff. And if Jesus Christ himself materialized in front of us and said, I'm a progressive Democrat and I'm running for Senate in Alabama, you'd have these same people saying, Jesus lost his way and we're going to vote for the Republicans.
It's like that Trump supporter who said that he'd have to check with the president first, right? Before taking Jesus' side.
If Jesus said, what was it? Something like if Jesus said there was Trump-Russia collusion.
Yes.
The voter would say, hold on, Jesus, I'm going to check with Donald Trump first. Donate, phone bank, and knock on doors in Alabama. Okay? Donate, phone bank, and knock on doors. Because as I said before, those polls could not be trusted, and there's a good chance that Roy Moore is going to win this special election on December 12th. Join us on our subreddit, discuss this or anything else, davidpakman.com/REDDIT. Today's program is made possible in part by Blue Sky Binary's Blockchain Academy. Blockchain, the technology on which Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies can be based. Many people not aware of both the power and the risks that are carried by blockchain technology. I've only started to get into this a little bit, buying a little bit of Bitcoin here and there, dollar cost averaging. But a lot of people, myself included, believe that blockchain technology is just too complicated to understand. But the truth is it doesn't have to be that way. The Blue Sky Binary Blockchain Academy from leading financial education firm Blue Sky Binary explains how blockchain works. And it can work in addition to existing knowledge that you have about blockchain. It's for both beginners and active cryptocurrency users alike. With the course, students are taken through a series of topics which ultimately will deliver a very solid understanding of how blockchain works and help students realize the potential future uses of blockchain technology. We've talked about this in the pharmaceutical world. We've talked about this in the IT security world. Many, many possibilities for blockchain. And the course includes video on demand, online tests, access to a community of traders and blockchain enthusiasts. And at blueskybinary.com/David, you can register to get a free 3-day trial, which includes access to the first module of the course for you to evaluate the overall quality and decide if you want to stick with it. Get a free 3-day trial at blueskybinary.com/David.